Dive with us into the intriguing world of the 15th century, a time of kingdoms, knights, and wars. An epic where the world was a chessboard for kings and queens, and the knights were their pawns. This was an era where the fate of nations was determined on the battlefield, and the echoes of clashing swords and war cries filled the air. The 15th century was dominated by the Hundred Years' War, a protracted conflict between two of history's greatest powers, England and France. This war was not merely a clash of armies, but a struggle for dominance and survival, fueled by political instability and territorial disputes. France, the stage for our narrative, was a country on the precipice, torn apart by internal strife and the relentless onslaught of the English forces. The throne was unstable, and the kingdom was divided. Religion too played a pivotal role, with the church being a powerful entity, its influence permeating all aspects of life. The societal norms of this era were rigid, especially for women. Women were expected to conform to a certain archetype, to be docile, to be caregivers, to be silent spectators in a world run by men. They were confined to the domestic sphere, and their potential was often overlooked and underutilized. Yet, amidst the chaos and the conventions, there was a glimmer of change, a spark that would ignite a revolution and challenge the status quo, a voice that would echo through the annals of history, a beacon of hope and courage in a time of despair. In this tumultuous era, a young peasant girl named Joan of Arc rose to prominence and forever changed the course of history. This is her story, a tale of bravery, of defiance, of faith, and of a woman who dared to shatter the glass ceiling of her time, a journey that transcends the boundaries of time and continues to inspire us to this day. Born into a simple peasant family, Joan's life was far from ordinary. Nestled in the pastoral village of Domremy, smack dab in the heart of France, Joan was born in the year 1411. She was the youngest of 5 children, all of whom were raised in the humble simplicity of a peasant lifestyle, tending to animals and working the land. Yet, even in these early years, there was something different about Joan. Her upbringing was steeped in the traditions of the Catholic Church, with its tales of saints and miracles. Joan was deeply moved by these stories, and her faith grew strong. But it was more than just faith that set Joan apart. She started experiencing visions, or as she referred to them, voices from God. These were not mere figments of a child's imagination, but vivid spiritual encounters that had a profound impact on Joan. At the tender age of 13, Joan began to have her first visions. They were of Saint Michael, Saint Catherine, and Saint Margaret, who claimed to have been sent by God. Their message to Joan was clear. She was chosen for a divine mission, a mission to drive the English out of France and to ensure the Dauphin, Charles VII, was crowned king. These visions were a heavy burden for a young girl, but Joan took them seriously. She believed wholeheartedly in her divine appointment and was determined to fulfill it. Despite her youth and gender, she was resolute in her desire to heed the call of her visions, even if it meant defying societal norms and expectations. Joan's early life, steeped in religious fervor and punctuated by extraordinary visions, laid the foundation for the path she would soon tread, a path of bravery, leadership, and ultimately, martyrdom. Her steadfast belief in her divine mission and the courage to follow it set the stage for a life that would forever alter the course of French history. Guided by her visions, Joan embarked on a journey that would lead her to the highest echelons of French power. From peasant to warrior, Joan's ascent was nothing short of extraordinary. In a world dominated by men and the aristocracy, Joan, a simple peasant girl, managed to convince the Dauphin Charles, the uncrowned king of France, that she was the prophesied maiden destined to save France. Born with nothing more than her faith and determination, Joan was a far cry from the traditional image of a military leader. Yet she found herself in the royal court of Chinon in the spring of 1429, standing before the Dauphin Charles. Employing her uncanny knowledge of secret royal prayers and her prophetic visions, she persuaded the skeptical Dauphin and his advisors of her divine mission. She was given an army to lead to Orléans, a city besieged by the English and their Burgundian allies. Joan, clad in white armor and brandishing her banner, led her men with an unwavering conviction that astounded even the most seasoned generals. Against all odds, she lifted the siege in just 9 days, a feat that earned her the moniker, the Maid of Orléans. Emboldened by this victory, Joan spearheaded a series of swift and decisive campaigns that reinvigorated the French cause. Her audacity on the battlefield and her unwavering belief in her divine mission inspired her troops and unnerved her enemies. Finally, her greatest triumph came on the 17th of July, 1429, when she stood by Charles's side as he was crowned King Charles VII at Reims, fulfilling her prophecy. This marked the turning point in the Hundred Years' War, shifting the balance in favor of the French. Joan's meteoric rise from a humble peasant to the orchestrator of a king's coronation was unprecedented. Her victories not only altered the course of the war, but also challenged the societal norms of her time. Through her unwavering faith and indomitable spirit, she commanded armies, influenced kings, and instilled hope in a nation on the brink of despair. Her triumphs on the battlefield brought hope to a beleaguered France and cemented her status as a national heroine. But even the brightest flames can be extinguished, and Joan's light was no exception. The year was 1430, and Joan of Arc, the beacon of hope in France's darkest hour, would soon face her downfall. Captured by the Burgundians, her fate was sealed. The once revered leader was now a pawn, traded to the English, her sworn enemies, for a hefty sum of 4,000 livres tournois. The English, eager to discredit Joan and the Dauphin she had crowned, set her up for a trial for heresy. Yet this was no ordinary trial. It was a politically motivated spectacle, a kangaroo court with a predetermined outcome. Joan was not judged by a jury of her peers, but by a panel of biased clerics, all under English influence. Joan, a mere 19-year-old, was accused of various crimes, all designed to undermine her credibility. Her donning of men's clothing, a practical choice for a warrior, was twisted into a violation of divine law. Her visions, once her guiding light, were now painted as demonic deceptions. Throughout the trial, Joan showed remarkable courage and wit, often outsmarting her learned inquisitors. Despite their attempts to trap her with convoluted theological questions, Joan held her ground. She reaffirmed her faith, her divine guidance, and her mission to save France, refusing to recant even in the face of death. But the deck was stacked against her. The trial was a farce, the verdict a foregone conclusion. Joan was found guilty of heresy and sentenced to death. On the morning of May 30th, 1431, she was burned at the stake in the marketplace of Rouen. Her final moments were a testament to her unwavering faith and courage, as she called out the name of Saint Michael, her divine guide, and asked for a cross to hold as she met her tragic end. In the face of adversity and unjust accusations, Joan maintained her faith and courage until the very end. Though her life was cut short, Joan's impact resonates through the centuries. Her story did not end with her execution, but continued to evolve, shaping not just the history of France, but of the world. In the decades following her death, Joan's reputation underwent a dramatic transformation. In 1456, 25 years after her execution, a posthumous retrial was held at the behest of Joan's mother and the Inquisitor General. After a thorough examination of the trial records and testimonies from those who knew her, the court declared Joan innocent and a martyr. But Joan's legacy didn't stop at her exoneration. In the centuries that followed, she became an enduring symbol of French nationalism. During times of conflict, her image was invoked to inspire and unite the people of France. She was seen as a beacon of hope, a symbol of resistance against oppression. In 1920, nearly 5 centuries after her death, Joan of Arc was canonized as a saint by the Catholic Church, cementing her status as a religious icon. The peasant girl who claimed to hear the voices of saints was now, herself, a saint. Joan's influence extends far beyond the realms of religion and nationalism. In popular culture, she has been depicted in countless works of art, literature, film, and theater. She has been portrayed as a warrior, a martyr, a visionary, and a symbol of female empowerment. Her life story has inspired generations of women to challenge societal expectations and to fight for what they believe in. In a world often dominated by men, Joan stood out as a powerful female figure, demonstrating that women too can lead, can fight, and can change the course of history. Joan of Arc, a woman of faith, courage, and conviction, continues to inspire us, reminding us that even the most ordinary of us can change the course of history. Joan's legacy lives on, a testament to the enduring power of an extraordinary life.